Welcome to the Real Business Roundtable. Today we're going to talk about why most businesses fail.
Yeah. We're going to get into that pretty deep. We both have experiences with businesses that failed, businesses that exceed. We're also dealing with building a business. So I think that we have the understanding and the knowledge to explain why and how businesses fail, how most businesses fail. But before we get into that, there is a sickness going around, and it has caught me. And
Not you, but not me.
I'm getting over it. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I sound nasally, so don't mind that, please. But yeah, it's not fun. I hate being sick because I don't like not doing anything. And when I'm sick, I just lay there and don't do anything. I can't do anything. I can't go out. I can't do shit.
Yeah,
it sucks.
It sucks, yeah.
But
I remember one time I was actually invited on a radio show to talk, and I had the flu. I had to call my team. I go to the radio station and represent us. I can't miss this interview. And I had a couple of my staff members go, but I was like really sick.
Dude, yeah, I was down and out for 2 days. I was up, but I like pounded vitamins and I'm better now.
Good.
Almost 100%. My voice sounds really, really nice right now, I think. I think it sounds like even better. Yeah, man. I think it sounds like, it's a little nasally, but it's deep. And it's like,
based on your experience and what you see out there, what do you think? And I know there's a line item of things that entrepreneurs should pay attention to when they're going in business or they're trying to grow their business to prevent them from quote unquote failing.
So we're getting right into it.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Let's get into it.
So, without looking at, what people say and statistics on why most businesses fail, I think I have to go back and understand what I needed to learn or what I thought I needed to learn in order to succeed in the industry that we're in. And, one thing that was huge for me was confidence, having confidence in what I'm providing and what I'm doing, having knowledge, and then having work ethic. Because, if I'm not working as hard as I possibly can and then some, then someone else is going to be working harder than me.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to, and it may not be the reason why I fail, but it also could be the reason why I fail if I don't work as hard as or harder than the next person. But those are three things: is knowledge, confidence, and work ethic. When I first started, I've explained this a couple times, but when I first started, I didn't really have enough knowledge or experience in this industry. And so what I did was I went out and I just did it. And it was risky. It was very risky. And, I had a couple failures and I had a couple, projects that went really well, but I threw myself right in there and I was confident about what I was doing. I remember like drafting up contracts and making everything as professional as possible. And, going out there, setting up meetings, sitting down with those business owners and telling them exactly what I'm going to do without making the expectations too high. And, before I did any of this, I didn't know how to build a website. I didn't know how to run ads. I didn't know how to copyright. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. But through the process, I learned. But what I did know was I had that drive. I had that work ethic. I had the confidence. But what I needed was the knowledge and the experience. And, the way I did it, like I said, it was a little bit less orthodox. It was out there, but I did it and I learned a lot from it. I ran ads, I copyright, I made, advertisements, I made graphics, I did all this stuff. I managed social media. I did a full campaign multiple different times. And I learned so much from it, even though I didn't know anything at the beginning. It took me about a year.
I think one of the number one things that makes businesses fail is taking their sales or their clients for granted.
Mm-hmm.
So not appreciating the business and the clients that they have, or let's say you don't have clients yet. People think that those clients are just going to come to them just out of the blue, out of the sky, because they hung a sign up or they have a website. I think that's one of the in today's day and age, I think that's the number one reason why businesses fail, is they just think that by putting out a website Say you go on a do-it-yourself website platform and you just put it out there and you call it a day without any sales energy. You don't even need to run ads. I'm talking about like just knocking on doors and going out there and making your name known. I think a lot of people feel like, oh, well, I registered the business, I set up a website, and I'm good to go. It's farthest from the truth. Sales is the lifeblood of any business, and sales needs to be the number one agenda. Aside from solving a problem and providing value, you have to focus on a sales strategy first. So you better have some sales skills yourself. If you don't, you need to either partner up with somebody that does, or you need to hire someone to fulfill that very critical, essential piece of your business, which is sales.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing. When I see a business go down and down and down and fail, 95% of the time it's because of a lack of sales.
Yeah. And
that's what I have seen.
Another big one of why businesses fail is because they're not staying on top of, they're too blinded by.
Or they're complacent.
They're complacent. Yeah. They're too blinded by, I don't know how to put it into words, but I'm going to explain it from my experience. So your business needs to always be changing. It needs to be on top of things. It could be an issue. It could be, staying on top of, changes in the market.
Evolve.
But for me, when I started, I knew I was good at sales. I knew I was literally signing on. I had 4 or 5 clients from not knowing how to do anything. I was just selling them. And I found that I enjoyed selling, but I couldn't fulfill because I was selling too much and it was literally just me. And so what I did was I networked. I talked to you and then you helped me fulfill while I continued doing what I enjoyed doing. And that was the change in the business that I think needed to happen. Yeah. Because at that point, I felt like I might have been taking the projects and the clients not for granted. I was not giving them what they needed in order to succeed. I was not able to do it. It was I couldn't fulfill it by myself. And I also I knew in my business I did not want to get to a point where I was hiring people already. I didn't want to go out and hire people and have to worry about the structure of the business too much. I wanted to work. I wanted to grow a business. And so when I partnered with you, it was perfect because you had a team that could fulfill and I could sell. So it just worked out really well. And so that's kind of a change that I had to make within my business that, I don't think other people who own businesses understand. You have to make those changes sometimes.
Yeah. It's about capitalizing on the skills that you have as an entrepreneur. So if you're a more behind the desk person and you're getting work done, facilitating, providing, fulfilling, whatever you want to call it, if that's your strength, then more power to you. But if you're not out there selling, bringing on new business, that could be a challenge. So whatever your expertise is within that business, any areas that you're not an expert, don't try to be a jack of all trades. Try to find somebody with the experience, either hire them, contract them, partner up with them, whatever it is that you need to get done. There are multiple sections of a business. So if you're good at one area, like I'll never forget, I bumped into a guy that does exactly what I do. I pulled up to a grocery store in my car. We've talked about, I love cars and I have a couple toys, and I pulled up in a nice vehicle and he stopped in his tracks and he's like, "What the hell do you do for work?" And I said, "I run a digital marketing agency. I grow businesses." He just paused and looked at me and said, "That's what I do." And I said, "Well, who does your sales?" And this guy drove a beat up, rusty old Toyota. And I said, "Who does your sales?" He's like, "Well, me." I said, "Who does your web development?" "Well, me." I said, "Who does the web design and the SEO?" "Well, me." I said, "Well, if you're a one-man shop, you're limited to what you can actually accomplish, which can explain what's going on here. You're scrambling trying to get sales. You get the sales, then you scramble to fulfill. You just lost, 90 days of sales production." Unfortunately, that can't be looked at as a phased-based approach like that. You have to have sales running while fulfillment's running. So you're filling up your sales pipeline. Now you're doing all your fulfillment. 9 times out of 10, you want to have a team that's going to fulfill that for you. That could create a recipe for failure or very low sales where you're not thriving. So you got to make sure that lifeblood of the business is getting fed. So my skill set is, business strategy, high level stuff, but also sales, business development, getting out there, getting the word out there. That's my skill. My business partner is really good at people management, operations management, running the day to day, while I'm out there bringing in new accounts, managing current accounts. That's how I was able to thrive. Was I hired other people to do things that I was not the best at. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has their core skill. What I'm trying to get at is, in order to avoid failure, understand what you're really good at and capitalize on it by focusing on that within your business, not trying to do everything. Because trying to do everything in your business, maybe in the very, very beginning is okay. But as you grow, as you get clients, make sure that you are covering your bases for those other things that you might not be an expert at.
Another thing I'm thinking about is resources too.
Yeah, some people don't have the resources to make their business grow. And what happens is they fizzle out. Their sales drop. They might give up. They might lose hope. And that's when we get into motivation and self-drive and having that spark under your butt that's going to push you to keep bringing in new business, to improve your business, not only work in your business, but work on your business. So it's kind of a balancing act.
Yeah.
But some people don't have those resources. And in today's world where you have freaking YouTube, you got
Resources
Google,
are all over. You
can just do your own research. Research and find the best options. Like, I got a buddy right now, good guy. He's starting a travel agency. Doesn't have a lot of money. And showed me this very basic website he made. And he's like, I'm looking at this SEO solution that's $29 a month. And I'm like, dude.
Travel agency for 20. Yeah.
I was like, stay far away from that bullshit. I worked something out to help him out because I didn't want to see him go down that dark path. That's not going to produce anything for him.
But also another thing is allocation. So allocation is a massive part, and understanding your finances is a huge part, and it's something that I'm still learning. Fortunately I have some help, which is big help, but I feel like that's also a massive, and that's even what a lot of people say is that finances and understanding allocation in the growth of your company, in payroll and everything is very, very important.
Allocation is critical. So let's say your company does $100,000 annually in annual sales. Just think of something super small.
Well, let's say $1 million to keep it easy.
Yeah, you make $1 million. You don't pocket that $1 million.
No.
Some entrepreneurs will start a business and they'll see that revenue and they will cut so much and try so hard to not invest in their business so they can put more money in their pocket, when ultimately what you're doing is you're preventing yourself from growing. Picture a little seed in the ground, and that revenue in your bank account is the water, the sun, the food that seed needs to grow into a tree that's going to bear fruit. All you're doing is pulling that water. You're pulling that sunlight. Oh, yeah, I made $1 million. No, dude, you're actually losing $10 million from the lack of growth. You'll never see that growth because you're so penny pinching with your revenue. You think that's just money that's going to go in your pocket. Absolutely not. That's the lifeblood that's going to grow your business. So sometimes people fail because I see this a lot with real estate people. Mm-hmm. They don't know when their next deal is going to come. I get it. And there's always some kind of market condition where they give you an excuse why they can't invest in digital.
But you can't function in a business based off fear. You can't base it off of that.
But the real estate people, the very few that invest in their digital, they clean house because they're doing something that the others are not doing. And then people go get their real estate license and they're like, why am I not getting sales? It's like, dude,
no one knows about you.
If you're not knocking on doors, if you're not selling mailers, if you're not listing your properties, if you're not proactively looking for customers, if you don't have a digital landscape in today's world, it's suicide for your business. And yeah, you're going to fizzle out and not have any business for your real estate business. But I see this in certain industries where it's like a plague. You'll meet with a real estate person, they'll act like a hot shit in the first meeting, but then you find out they're super scared to make any move. But it's like, bro, you just sold $1 million property. You just made a shitload of commission. Use some of that to move product, move inventory. You make money by cycling inventory.
Yeah, the most successful, especially in this industry, the most successful real estate agents and brokers and whatever it is are the people that are online making videos, putting themselves out there, getting traction from different resources, different platforms. The thing is with this and this industry and a couple others is that people get very complacent, which is it's very similar to what you're saying.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing with real estate and a bunch of other industries very similar to that, is that when they make a sale, they have instant gratification. All that money goes in their bank account and then they're good. But you're not good because you don't know when your next sale is going to come in. Mm-hmm. You can't run your business. This is another one. You cannot run your business on fear.
No.
If you run your business on fear, it's just going to hold you back.
But here's a caveat. Fear and anxiety can drive productivity. Yeah. There's different types of fear. If a real estate agent sells a couple properties, stacks some cash, don't act like a hibernating bear and feed off that cash to live on. No, invest it into the scaling of your business.
Allocate it properly.
Allocate it properly. Don't sit there like you're putting acorns in your mouth like a squirrel.
But dude, this is the thing.
It's like a plague in the real estate world. There are so many people. I'm in shock when I talk to some of these real estate people. Like, I met with this one guy in Cambridge, and he had the whole pretentious look. Was in a very expensive office, but I was talking about very basic programs to help him achieve what he was trying to achieve. He's like, oh, that's too much money. I'm like, wait a minute. You sell $2 million properties, $3 million properties in Cambridge, brownstones. You move a couple, you're making some good money. What is wrong with getting the word out there a little bit more to solve the problem that you have not having enough sales? And he was just like focusing on price, too much. You're not looking at the big picture. People focus on the obstacles too much. Like I say this, on this podcast, you're going to hear me talk about stuff a lot. I repeat myself, but it's very important to get it into everyone's heads. If you picture a soccer field and you picture the goal, the people in front of you trying to prevent you from getting that goal are obstacles and can be compared to obstacles in business, right? When people focus on the price point, the investment, oh my God, and they're in fear like that and they're holding back, not fear that pushes productivity, fear that makes people hold back. All you're doing is you're losing the game before the game even started. The goal's there and you don't want to deal with the obstacles. Those little investments that you make here and there and those things that you need to get over are the obstacles. You got to push through those. And I think that's more of a mindset thing where people need to learn that don't run your business on fear where you are reserved. If you're going to be fearful to motivate you, use it to push you.
Yeah. So that kind of goes back on motivation, on different ways at looking at motivation. When I first started, I had the fear of failure. I could not fail. I couldn't. I had no other option. That kind of fear pushed me really hard. It lit a fire under my ass, and that I'm thankful for, having that. And I will never lose that. I'll always have, the fear of failure, and that'll always push me. But it's very true, and it's not just in real estate though. It's in a lot of different industries. People make, they have this season where their business explodes and they make a shit ton of cash, and then they don't do anything about it, and they just expect, oh, my business is up 50%, my business is up 100%, this season. I'm just going to ride it out. It's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. You know what? Maybe I'll have a slow time, but it's going to ramp right back up. And that's not true. Mm-hmm. You got to allocate your money that you made in a way that you're still getting paid, but you're also putting a lot of that money back into the business so that you get more eyeballs, get more traffic, get more business, more sales. Yeah. And so that kind of, closes out the allocation part, and understanding that, finances and allocation and how you spend your money that you make back into your business rather than into your pockets is very important in the growth of any company. At the start of some businesses, people don't get paid at all, and that's why people have jobs, and then they have their side gigs or their side, business or whatever you want to call it, because you want to still make money, but in order to grow a business, sometimes you can't take any of the money out of the business. You have to put it back in. So that's allocation.
Yeah. So yeah,
you're just staring at me. I'm like waiting for him to say something.
Allocation is a very, very big piece. Another thing, which I think you touched upon earlier a little bit, is learning the trends.
Yes.
Stay on top of what's changing, what's important today, what's important, tomorrow. Because if you don't stay in line with your industry, people who are learning and staying current are going to beat you. So in a competitive environment, you always want to be cutting edge. Like for us, I'm always learning about technology. I'm always learning about skill sets that are really hard to find. I'm trying to find what's going to give our clients that edge that their competitors don't have access to, or they don't have because of their own negligence and their own complacency. So sometimes if you work with an industry that typically is in fear and not doing the proper thing, like real estate, and you find a gung-ho real estate person and you go, listen, you have a huge advantage here and a huge opportunity to clean house. This is what we're going to do for you. We're going to use this technology. We're going to set up these landing pages. We're going to get you exposure here and here and here. If you're doing that, which is different than what the masses are doing, absolutely huge success. Another industry that we found was sort of like complacent because, funeral homes. People pass away and funeral home directors are kind of like, yeah, the business will come to us when it comes to us. And they're literally, like, figuratively, just like this, mentally. Their whole business is like this. It will come when it comes. What? Oh, somebody passed away? What? Versus, you be the only funeral home that's aggressively working on your visibility, making sure if somebody Googles funeral home near me, that you're dominating the searches, that you have a social media page. Might try not to make it morbid, but talk about more about, different quality caskets that you offer, or, maybe more spiritual, uplifting posts that talk about losing a loved one or something like that. But if you do what the others are not doing, you will stand out. We've seen it before. Weird, awkward industries like that who just go, yeah, I want to step up my digital, and they blow up because there's no competition. You may have competitors based on their category and their business title of what they do, but if those others are not doing the proper promotion, you have a huge advantage. So don't follow the same complacent, business taken for granted mindset. Do something different. That will set you up for not failing.
Yeah.
And I know that funeral homes do have like automatic business that comes to them, but there is an element of competition.
100%. There's an element of competition within any business, and that's why we're talking about what we're talking about today. Because if you don't stay on top of this shit, you're gonna fail.
Another important thing is don't give up. If you have a bad month, excuse me.
Oh shit. What's going on here? If you have a bad month, if you have like something within the process does not go your way, you can never give up. It's gonna suck for a little bit. I've said this before, cry about it for a couple minutes and then get back up and keep plugging away. A
lot of people will throw up their hands. They'll throw up their hands. They'll throw the notebook, and then they're just like, I'm sick of this. You don't give up. You figure out a way to push through and finish the game. You just need to have that level of motivation inside you to not give up and believe in your dream, believe in what you're trying to accomplish, rather than saying, because you're going to hit good times, you're going to hit bad times, and holy shit, I've experienced some bad times and some challenging times, but we push through it. We figure out a way around it, and we move past it. Keep moving forward in a positive. I always tell people this, in a positive and productive direction.
Loves that.
Anything other than that is time wasting. It's negativity. It's bullshit, and it's a recipe for failure.
So And also, when you're starting a business, this is how I understand it. When you sign up for this life, this is your life. There's no turning back. That's not an option. You know, when you think in your head, oh, I have this plan B. Oh, I have, you know, if this fails, you can't think like that. You cannot turn back. This is it. You got to make it work. And that's what is going to push you and is going to provide that work ethic in order to have you succeed.
You got to go the extra mile. If it's uncomfortable for you, maybe that's a sign that you're doing the right thing. Get a little uncomfortable, push yourself, and avoid that failure, and push yourself, get up, dust yourself off, and don't give up. That's the key, is going the extra mile and just pushing yourself to get through that, and then you reap the rewards. Too many people hit those challenges and they just kind of throw their hands up. They can't give up, go the extra mile, try to figure out how you can outwork your competition, how you can be better than your competition. And that's going to kind of segue into the next area.
Well, I was just going to say, just to finish that off, if you're thinking about starting a business and you don't think you would be able to get over those hard times, you don't think that you have the mental capacity in order to do that, in order to work as hard as you can, don't do it. It's as simple as that.
Another important element is you want to make sure that you are open-minded. As a business owner, if you learned a trade, let's say you worked for another company and you want to go do your own thing. Don't follow the playbook. Things evolve, things change. You could stand out by being a little bit different than the blueprint or the playbook. Always be open-minded to doing things differently. If a technology comes your way, give it the time of day, look at it, figure out if it'll make you more efficient or if it will give you a competitive edge. There's several options out there for people, but you can kind of craft your own business model that makes you so unique that the customer has no choice but to work with you.
The first person I think of too, when, you know, and this can be in any industry, literally anything. And I know I'm veering away from technology. Do you want me to do that?
No, go ahead.
Who made that big change in the industry around here?
You talking about the real estate guy?
Food.
Oh, yeah.
So, like I'm saying, it could be in literally any industry. And this all goes back to, you know, like what you think may be really hard or impossible, or like just not impossible, but like really hard to do. And, you know, people don't want to do it. Someone else is going to do it. And
yeah, if you're using bad preservatives and bad ingredients, your stuff's not organic, and you're feeding people shit, and then a restaurant appears out of nowhere that uses all like natural good ingredients, there's no crap in it, people are going to want that. People nowadays, most people care about what they put in their body.
Yeah, normally in your area, I don't know where you are, but you probably won't find a healthy food place, like a really high quality, healthy, you know, restaurant that has a drive-through.
Yeah,
but in our area, someone did that, and you know, people were saying, you know, that's not going to work. It's not going to work. How would that work? Healthy food, really good quality food in a drive-through. How could you facilitate that?
It's fast. It's fast, casual, and it's healthy.
And someone did it.
Yeah,
and he did an amazing job of it. And
now he has like what 8-9 locations.
He's doing amazing. He's in the credential. I mean, come on, like this just goes to show that, you know, no matter what idea you have, people are going to say like, oh, it may not work. Oh, but you know, it's too hard. It's too tough. But if you just stick to it and you just go with it and you have confidence and you have work ethic, it's not going to fail, and you understand how to allocate that money, and you have all these fundamentals when you're starting a business. Anything is possible. Anything.
One other thing that's very important for people to know to avoid failure is knowing your numbers. When you create your price points, you need to know in your head, pretty close to being accurate, roughly what your cost of goods sold, your overhead, your profit, how much of that profit is going to be allocated towards the growth of your business. So let's say you're following the 10% rule. You need to add 10% to your pricing to know that 10% of that number that you're asking for is going to go towards future growth, to keep that cycle coming in. Don't just charge a price that you think is pretty good off the top of your head, because you could lose in that situation big time. then you won't have the money to run any advertising, any biz dev work, any
I was just gonna say, early on in the growth, when you're starting to grow your business, these are things that you can also test too, and make sure that you're paying close attention to how you're pricing yourself, how you're valuing yourself, how you speak to the people that are going to be buying your product. And like, I'm just kind of building off that. Know your value and price it at the point that it'll touch the most people possible. That it'll be, I can't think of the word, but you can go.
No, it's all right. So, there's some solutions out there that they advertise like, oh yeah, hey, we'll do everything for you. We'll do this and we'll do that. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. One of the verticals that we work really well with is restaurant groups. So let's say there's a restaurant group that has 50 restaurants in their network. They'll hire us to position each of those restaurants for growth. Well, unfortunately, there's some like online ordering platforms out there that offer a free website. And someone will look at that and they'll go, that thing's only $40 a month. They'll do everything. And then when they make the switch, I've seen this happen, their business plummets. It plummets because they're not providing you the ongoing service to keep your restaurant visible through social, through search. Interactive multimedia content's not happening. You got a website that processes online orders. What good is it if no one's going to it or it's not found? You got to think of that. So don't commoditize. If you're working with an agency, don't commoditize. Oh, I just have a website. No, what is that website doing for you? So be really careful with other companies out there that say that they can do something a lot cheaper. Don't be confused by the price point and let it cloud your judgment. Take a quick assessment. Hey, I'm paying a couple grand now a month, but let me look at my analytics. Shit, I got 10,000 people looking at my menu every month. Am I willing to walk away from this for online ordering and saving a couple bucks? Especially if your agency's bringing in over $1 million in growth every year after year. You got to think about those things on what you're sacrificing. I know people like to look at the P&L and go, oh, what can I save? What can I save? Not exactly the smartest move.
No, not at all. It all ties in with risk. You gotta understand risk and risk management when you're going into business, because you're gonna be taking a lot of risks. I mean, starting a business is a massive risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, so if you understand risk management and you're able to manage your risk, then you are more likely set up for success than if you don't understand risk management and it's interesting because we say, be open-minded and we say be open-minded and try out new things, but you gotta have risk management when it comes to that sort of stuff, because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you are risking way too much in order to, in a trial.
Yeah, you don't want to put everything on black, so to speak. Like, you don't want to gamble the whole house.
Yeah.
You want to be very calculated. So whatever you're investing in the growth of your business to not fail, to not go out of business, is 10 to 20% of your top line revenue. That's the cutoff, is 20%. Where you don't want to go invest 50% of your you'll go out of business. That will make you fail if it doesn't work. So you got to be very calculated, 10 to 20%. If you're super conservative and your sales are already high, you can get away with 5%, but always make sure that you're not betting the house, so to speak. Don't go crazy.
It's interesting because I'm thinking about like
if somebody comes to us and they talk crazy numbers, I do $1 million a year and my ad budget's 500,000. I'd say, well, wait. That's not adding up. I'll first find out, do you have funding from somewhere else?
Yeah, you must.
Is this an investor, or is this
have a bunch of money?
Can't go crazy. We will not let people go crazy. The cutoff's 20%.
Yeah.
End of story.
So it's interesting. So does I know the what we say is 10% in order to grow your company, which is a great number. We've seen it successful, time and time over again. But you could spend a lot more depending on the business that you're in. So let's say you're in...
Your average ticket's super high.
Or like e-commerce too. Like if you have one product, I wonder, I'm just curious, could you, if you have one product, a website with one product, and then you have accessories or whatever else for that one product, and it's purely online, you could probably get away with spending, I mean, I guess just like distribution and logistics and stuff like that, but you'll probably get away with spending more than 10%, especially at the inception of the business, at the beginning.
Yeah, you can spend 20%. I think the highest I've ever seen was 30, but that's excessive in my opinion. That's risky.
Yeah.
Now your risk is going higher.
Yeah, because it's funny. I want to have, I don't know why I keep going back to this, but I want to have actually, I know a guy who's going to be coming on. I'm excited to have you on, Logan. But he does drop shipping and he creates, Amazon stores and all this stuff. And I'm really curious how because he's very successful in this industry. He's done very, very well. He's built, tens of different businesses. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure. But I wonder what his allocation looks like. I would
love to talk to him first.
No,
I don't want an embarrassing moment to happen on the show, because if he starts talking about 1%,
no, well, it's not.
Well, it's like the other guy that we talked to in the construction industry. He was like talking about 2%. He was boasting about it.
But he is also. But listen, this is the thing.
Dude.
He's complacent because he's boasting about it. Yeah. But he's also been stuck at that same number for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like, hey, great, you're making good money, but where's the growth?
Yeah.
You have kids, right? You want them to be insanely successful. Like that's great. Congratulations if you built a business that has been, doing 10 million for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
You could be doing better though.
Yeah.
You could be doing 20 million, 30 million, 40 million. And that's like, okay, good shit, bro. Like that. I respect all of it, right? But don't be complacent. Don't think that you're bragging about being at the same number for the past 30 years.
Oh God, you're gonna get
30 years. 30 years. Don't be complacent. That's another huge thing. Someone is going to be doing 10 times better than you if you're complacent at a certain number. If that number's great and you're doing amazing, that's awesome.
Don't get comfortable.
And if you're being complacent in that business and you started another business, that's better. That's dope. You started another business, another form of income. If I see someone who's been complacent for the past 10 years, and they're doing the same numbers, they plateau, but they have other businesses that they're growing. That's even good.
Yeah. But create different divisions and different offerings.
Silos. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
The Real Business Roundtable.
Thank you so much for joining us. My voice is nice and deep for this, so let's see if I can get it right the first time. Thank you so much for joining us on the Real Business Roundtable. If you liked this video and you enjoyed watching us and joining us today, like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so that you get notified every time we post a new video. Also check us out on Instagram for updates and clips. Peace out.